A beloved detective, a loyal four-legged partner, and a bond that fans thought could never be broken. Yet behind the scenes of Hudson and Rex, a shocking twist has left viewers stunned. John Reardon, the face of Detective Charlie Hudson, is walking away from the show in Season 8. Why would the actor who carried the heart of this series suddenly say goodbye? The answer is not as simple as it seems. And what it means for the future of Hudson and Rex is even more dramatic. To truly understand why John Reardon's departure feels so shocking, we need to step back and look at what Hudson and Rex has become over the years. Since its debut in 2019, the series has grown from a small Canadian police drama into an internationally loved show. On the surface, it is a crime-solving procedural like many others, but what makes it special is the unique partnership at its core. Detective Charlie Hudson and his German Shepherd partner, Rex, John Reardon, playing Hudson, isn't just another detective character. He is the human side of the story, the steady hand guiding Rex, the empathetic heart connecting with victims, and the sharp mind cracking difficult cases. His calm, thoughtful style gave viewers someone they could root for every week. And opposite him, Rex, played by the talented dog Diesel von Bergenwald, became more than just a pet or police tool. Rex was written and filmed as Hudson's equal partner, almost human in his loyalty, intelligence, and bravery. What makes the show resonate is not simply the cases, but the bond between man and dog. This bond is not only written into the script, but felt deeply by fans who tune in from all over the world. Whether Rex is leaping through windows to chase down a criminal, or Hudson is sitting quietly with Rex after a tough day, the show manages to blend action with warmth. And John Reardon was at the heart of that balance. His natural charm, his easygoing smile, and the way he interacted with Rex gave the series its signature identity. For many fans, Hudson and Rex is not just a procedural, it's a comfort show. Viewers return not only for the suspense of the crimes, but also for the joy of watching a partnership built on trust and love. In a television landscape filled with darker and heavier dramas, Hudson and Rex stands out as wholesome, optimistic, and surprisingly emotional. John Reardon's Hudson embodies the idea that good people with good dogs can make the world a little safer. Over 7 seasons, the series has built a loyal fan base not just in Canada, but across Europe and other regions where it has been syndicated. Reardon has become inseparable from the role. He is not simply an actor on a show. He is Charlie Hudson, and Charlie Hudson is Hudson and Rex. This is why the announcement of his departure feels so unbelievable. It's like removing Sherlock from Sherlock Holmes or Mulder from the X-Files. The DNA of the show seems intertwined with his presence. Another reason the news hit fans so hard is that the show never gave any strong hints that such a change was coming. Usually when an actor leaves a long-running series, there are rumors, interviews, or even storylines that prepare the audience. But here, the shift seemed sudden. Season 7 ended with the same warm dynamic that viewers loved, and there was no clear signal of Hudson stepping back. So when the news of John Reardon's exit broke, it came as a thunderbolt. But before diving into the reasons for his departure, it's important to remember the cultural weight Hudson and Rex carries. It's not just a police drama, it's a rare, family-friendly show that has managed to survive in a TV industry that often prioritizes darker, grittier stories. Parents and children can watch it together. Dog lovers cherish it because Rex is portrayed as heroic and intelligent, never just comic relief. And through all of it, John Reardon has been the anchor, the human face of this heartwarming world. His absence, therefore, raises more than just questions about casting. It creates doubt about the very identity of the show. Can Rex carry the series without Hudson? Can another detective step into his shoes without breaking the magic formula? These are questions fans are asking loudly on social media, and they set the stage for the deeper drama behind Reardon's decision to leave. And so, as we move into the details of this shocking departure, it's important to carry this context. John Reardon wasn't just acting in Hudson and Rex, he was the emotional center of the series. His chemistry with Diesel, his warmth with the rest of the cast, and his steady presence shaped the show into what it is today. which makes his decision to leave feel less like a simple career move and more like the breaking of a bond that millions of viewers had come to cherish. Asterisk. The news of John Reardon's departure didn't arrive with a gentle warning. It landed like a thunderclap. For years, fans had grown comfortable knowing that Detective Charlie Hudson would be there, standing tall beside Rex, solving crimes with quiet determination and a loyal heart. So, when whispers began circulating that Season 8 might be his last, most brushed it off as nothing more than rumor. But then came the confirmation. John Reardon, the very soul of Hudson and Rex, was stepping away. The announcement hit harder because of its timing. Season 7 had wrapped without a single clue that Hudson's future was uncertain. No dramatic cliffhanger, no storyline exit strategy, no signs of Reardon preparing to bow out. Instead, fans were left with a version of Hudson that seemed steady and permanent, a character who gave the impression he would be on screen for many seasons to come. The suddenness of the reveal only amplified the heartbreak. Industry insiders described the decision as unexpected but final. While some actors slowly distanced themselves from a long-running series, taking breaks or scaling back appearances, Reardon's departure was framed as absolute. Season 8 would move forward without Detective Hudson as the central character. For a show so deeply tied to the relationship between man and dog, the prospect felt almost unthinkable. The reactions were immediate. Social media platforms lit up with disbelief. Longtime viewers expressed sadness, many saying they could not imagine watching Hudson and Rex without its human half. Hashtags trended, with fans posting compilations of Hudson and Rex's best moments scenes, of them running side by side, sharing quiet moments of companionship, or outsmarting villains as a team. These weren't just television clips. They were treasured memories for an audience that had invested years into the partnership. Even more telling was the tone of the response. Fans weren't angry in the way they sometimes are when beloved characters are killed off or written out dramatically. Instead, there was a sense of loss, like saying goodbye to a friend. John Reardon's Hudson had become a constant in the lives of many viewers. To them, this wasn't just the end of a TV role. It was the disruption of a comfort they had relied on week after week. What made the news even more dramatic was the lack of clarity around why. The official statements were careful and somewhat vague. They praised Reardon's years of dedication, his work ethic, and his unforgettable portrayal of Charlie Hudson, but stopped short of providing a clear reason for his departure. This vacuum of information left room for speculation, and fans wasted no time filling it. Some suspected personal reasons, noting that Reardon is a devoted family man. Others wondered if he wanted to explore new acting opportunities, something outside the procedural comfort zone. A smaller group suggested the departure might have been tied to production choices, budgets, or creative directions. Regardless of the cause, the impact on the show was undeniable. Hudson and Rex was always billed as a partnership, but in practice, John Reardon was the anchor that kept everything together. The supporting cast from Sarah Trong, the forensics expert, to Superintendent Donovan, the no-nonsense boss, each added richness to the world, but they all revolved around the Hudson-Rex dynamic. Removing Hudson meant altering the very structure of the series, leaving fans wondering if it could ever feel the same again. In interviews following the announcement, cast members carefully expressed gratitude and support. They highlighted Reardon's professionalism, his kindness on set, and his bond with Diesel, who played Rex, but between the lines, it was clear that the departure would leave a significant hole not just for the fans, but for those who worked beside him every day. Even Diesel's trainer acknowledged that Reardon had built a real off-screen relationship with the dog, which helped bring authenticity to their scenes. The suddenness of it all gave the departure the weight of a genuine drama. It wasn't just a career move. It became a story in itself, one with all the elements of a TV twist shock, speculation, emotional fallout, and unanswered questions. And in some ways, that's what has kept fans so engaged. They are not just watching Hudson and Rex anymore. They are watching the story around the story, the unfolding saga of why John Reardon left, and what will happen next. As the dust settled, one truth became clear. Reardon's departure wasn't just about losing an actor. It was about losing half of the partnership that defined the show. For viewers who tuned in to see the perfect balance of human intellect and canine instinct, the idea of moving forward without Charlie Hudson felt like watching a familiar world fracture. And that fracture is exactly what makes this departure so unforgettable. Asterisk, when an actor as central as John Reardon leaves a beloved show, the question on everyone's lips is always the same: why? Why walk away from a character that has become iconic? Why step down from a partnership that fans cherish worldwide? The truth is, in television, departures rarely come with one single reason. Instead, they're often shaped by a mix of personal choices, career ambitions, and behind-the-scenes dynamics. And John Reardon's exit seems to be no exception. One possibility is the most human one of all: family. Reardon is a husband and father, and over the years he's spoken about balancing his demanding filming schedule with personal life. Hudson Rex is shot in Newfoundland, far from Hollywood, far from the major film hubs. While the location gives the show its charm, it also requires long stretches of work away from the comforts of home. For a devoted family man, that separation can weigh heavily. Stepping back may not be about leaving acting, but about reclaiming time with loved ones. Another reason could be professional growth. Reardon has played Charlie Hudson for nearly a decade. For any actor, staying in one role too long can feel both comfortable and limiting. While fans never tire of Hudson's calm determination, actors often crave new challenges, different genres, new characters, opportunities to stretch their craft. Walking away from such a defining role is risky, but it can also be freeing. It opens doors to fresh projects and prevents an actor from being typecast forever as one character. Of course, there's also the possibility of creative decisions beyond Reardon's control. Television is as much business as it is art. Networks consider budgets, contracts, and long-term strategies. Sometimes producers choose to refresh a show with new faces or alter its direction to keep audiences engaged. While fans may never know the exact details, it's not uncommon for an actor's exit to be shaped partly by behind-the-scenes negotiations that have little to do with performance and everything to do with logistics. There are the rumors, those whispers that fuel fan speculation. Some say Reardon may have had new offers waiting. Others suggest fatigue after so many seasons. While a few point to the natural life cycle of television characters, even the strongest partnerships eventually face change. Whether any of these are true or not, the lack of a definitive explanation only deepens the mystery, making his departure feel like part of the drama itself. What makes Reardon's exit so striking is that it doesn't fit the usual patterns. He wasn't written off with a dramatic death. He wasn't quietly faded out of storylines. Instead, his departure was abrupt yet respectful, leaving space for fans to mourn, speculate, and hope. And maybe that's part of the reason it resonates so much. It feels unfinished, like a chapter closed without all the answers. In the end, the reasons behind John Reardon's exit may never be fully revealed. Perhaps it was a choice made for love of family, a hunger for artistic growth, or the quiet mechanics of television production. Perhaps it was all three. What matters most, however, is the impact it leaves behind. For viewers, the why may remain a mystery, but the loss is something deeply felt. And as Season 8 unfolds, those unanswered questions will linger in every scene where Detective Charlie Hudson is missing, a reminder that even in scripted dramas, the stories behind the camera can be just as powerful as the ones on screen. Asterisk, when news of John Reardon's departure broke, the first question wasn't why did he leave, but rather what happens now? Because Hudson Rex has never been just another procedural crime drama, it has always been a story about partnership. And at the center of that story was Charlie Hudson. His exit creates not only a gap in the cast but a fundamental shift in the DNA of the series. From the very beginning, audiences tuned in for the chemistry between man and dog. Hudson was the steady voice, the careful strategist, the empathetic detective who brought the best out of Rex. Without him, the balance of the show tilts. Rex, no matter how brilliant on screen, cannot carry the narrative alone. The bond between the two wasn't just written into scripts. It was felt in every look, every shared moment, every leap into danger. Removing Hudson means rewriting the very heartbeat of the series. For the writers, this presents an enormous challenge. How do you continue a show when half of its core dynamic is gone? Do you replace Hudson with a new detective, hoping audiences will embrace the change? Or do you shift the focus entirely, allowing Rex and the supporting cast to take center stage? Neither option comes without risk. Fans are deeply protective of the Hudson-Rex relationship, and introducing a new partner could easily feel forced or hollow. Yet continuing without a human anchor risks leaving Rex adrift, a hero without his trusted counterpart. The supporting characters, while strong in their own right, have always functioned around Hudson's leadership. Sarah Trong, with her sharp, forensic mind, often leaned on Hudson's intuition. Superintendent Donovan respected Hudson's instincts even when protocol clashed with them. Even Jesse Mills, the light-hearted tech specialist, balanced his humor against Hudson's quiet seriousness. Without Hudson, the rhythm between these characters changes, and audiences will feel that absence immediately. There is also the question of longevity. Can Hudson and Rex survive beyond Season 8 without Reardon? Some shows manage to reinvent themselves after a major loss, gaining new life with fresh characters or story arcs. Others, however, never recover, fading away because audiences cannot let go of the version they loved most. For Hudson and Rex, the risk is especially high because of how central Hudson was to the brand. His face, his voice, his presence, these were inseparable from the image of the show itself. Fan reactions already hint at the uphill battle ahead. Many express doubt that they will continue watching without Reardon. Others cling to hope, waiting to see how the writers handle the transition. A smaller group insists that Rex is the true star and that the show could thrive with the right adjustments. This divide in the fan base mirrors the uncertainty hanging over the series itself. Still, there is opportunity in change. The departure forces the creative team to think boldly. A new partner could bring new dynamics, perhaps even refreshing the formula for longtime viewers. Storylines could grow darker, more unpredictable, or lean more heavily into Rex's perspective. As a character, the series could transform in ways no one expects. But whether that transformation feels like evolution or betrayal will depend entirely on execution. What remains undeniable is the emotional weight of Reardon's exit. The absence of Charlie Hudson will echo in every frame of Season 8. Whether acknowledged directly in the script or simply felt in the silence beside Rex, the partnership that once defined the series is broken, and what comes next will decide. If Hudson and Rex can stand on new legs, or if it will forever be remembered as the show that lost its heart when it lost John Reardon.